Hello, everyone. This is Bill Apter, and I just finished taping an episode of Count It Out with Mike and Tyler, or Tyler and Mike. They're brilliant hosts. You've got to listen, you've got to see. Count It Out. Yeah, I endorse it. They've got the after chat seal of approval.
Hey, Shatota, the Russian nightmare Nikita Koloff here, and you are listening to Counted, how you say, Counted Out with Mike and Tyler. You better tune in or I come after you, Shatota.
Well, we are live, pals, and welcome to another edition of Count It Out with Mike and Tyler. That is the Bill Apter Seal of Approved Count It Out with Mike and Tyler. I can never forget that every week. My name is Tyler. I am joined by Mojito Mike. And Mike, why don't you tell the people who we have joining us today? Because I'm really excited about this one.
Not as excited as I am, man. This is big for me because I've told you 1,000 times. One of my things I've been dying to do on this show that we don't do enough. Yeah, we get wrestlers on the show. We get guys in the wrestling world on the show all the time. That's awesome. I want to talk to wrestling fans. I love grabbing celebrities and people in status and talk to them about their wrestling fandom. One of the coolest things for me on my previous show was sitting down with Spenny Rice, and Spenny would talk about his love of Skandar Akbar and the original Sheik. You know, that was so cool for me. So I couldn't be more excited to say today, a guy, if you're in your 30s, maybe probably mid-20s too, and you watched YTV in your life, you know this guy, PJ Fresh Phill. How's it going, Phill?
You forgot current tag team champion PJ Fresh Phill. Superkick'd.
I was gonna get there. Current tag team champion from Superkick'd, man, and that's the reason for the season. That's why, man. I unfortunately I didn't know you were a wrestling fan, Phill, until one day I'm scanning the Superkick'd stuff on I don't know if it was on Facebook. I guess it was probably on Facebook, and there's my boy Psycho Mike, big fan of Psycho Mike over here. I should have wore a shirt today. That's what I should have done.
Psycho Mike is gifted, by the way. Go on.
100%.
He's touched. He's touched by the divine wrestling hand.
And seeing Mike in the ring with Phill doing stuff. So what the fuck is going on? It's Mike and PJ Phill. That's the most random thing I've ever saw. And then like it kind of rolled, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? And then there's Shane Saber, and then there's Stratos, two guys that we know pretty well from the scene as well. So how I guess that's the first question, man. How did you get rolled up in the Superkick'd?
My question is, you're going, come on, come on.
I was hyped up about it.
I was so pumped when I saw it because I love it. I love it when stuff like this happens. A few years ago, when Bill Lichka got involved with over in Kingston, you know, Bill
Bill's great.
Yeah, and Bill got to live a dream of his. They surprised him. He got attacked, the big heel wrestler at one of their shows. They didn't tell him that his favorite wrestler of all time at the time was going to come and make the save. And Honky came and made the save on Bill. Bill sitting in the ring almost crying because his hero's sitting there, making the big save. This is right before the pandemic. I want to say this is 2009 over at Chinlock Wrestling. Always a good time at Chinlock.
Did that get on video?
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I could give me a couple days. I'll find that for you, Phill. I'll make sure.
Celebrities in wrestling.
That's it. And you know, and like I brought up Spenny Rice, he's a huge wrestling fan.
Yeah.
He gets involved too. And right now managing friend of the show, Danny Franchise. So it's always cool for me not only see celebrities. There's a lot of celebrities involved in wrestling, but to see the guys that kind of grew up on the Canadian scene is always fun for us, because there's almost a sense of greed, selfishness here, you're ours. You know what I mean? It's like to us as Canadians, it's like, yeah, okay, you got your MTV guys, you got all that, sure, but they're the whole world's. The YTV guys, that belongs to Toronto, that belongs to Canada. We always took a lot of pride in that. So see you guys doing anything, especially the the any of the Much Music VJs from the 90s do anything at all, they could be doing a Sprint commercial, and I'm gonna fucking DVR that shit, you know. So so that's always fun for me, seeing any of you guys do stuff. So just like Tyler said, when we saw you just randomly
wrestling
in a ring with Psycho Mike, that blew our minds. So like, was this a long process for you? This is something that like where did this come from? Did Chris
you're gonna laugh at this story. So I mean, I had a little bit of wrestling, like every Canadian, I think every person has a little bit of wrestling, in their lives somewhere, whether it was like an uncle I remember when I liked wrestling when I was young, it was like Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Jake the Snake, but I didn't get super into it back then. And you're gonna laugh, and I think that you're gonna see more and more people like me. So last December, my fiance's friends took their kids to Road to WrestleMania. Okay. I don't know if you remember. That was like right before WrestleMania. Yeah. It was a house show, but so we're like, yeah, we'd love to see the kids, and this is like during pandemic. So we go, and we had the best time of our lives, and Seth Rollins comes out and everyone's singing, and we're like looking around. It's like, how do they all know this song? And the other thing we noticed was that people were like super nice. It's like, but the thing is, wrestling fans are nerds. Yeah. And by nerds, I mean, I'm a nerd about all kinds of stuff. Like, I'm a nerd about my guitar. Like, when I say nerd out, I mean like you have a passion for something, and you just you go deep. You know what I mean? Yep. Like super deep. And people were super nice. We wanted to know what was going on, so we bought WWE channel right away so we could watch WrestleMania. We watched WrestleMania. So this is like, just after December. By April, we were driving to Buffalo for Raw. Nice. Yeah. And so we wanted to experience that, especially with pandemic. It was like we were finding any kind of way to do some kind of a vacation that was viable. Yeah. But we got into wrestling, and we're being stupid. I was like combing vintage shops for shirts, and we were trying to buy belts at Walmart so we could bring the little belts like to the show, and you know what I mean. And we had a great time, and then now we're wrestling fans. We're buying shirts and stuff. Now Chris is the younger brother of a friend of mine who I used to hang out with, his sister, and I met him a long time ago, and he told me he was wrestling Chris. And I don't know, we were talking about characters, and I was like, hey, what's wrong with, a guy just trying to make it, like the Rock's trying to sell him the Rocky story. Yeah. It's like years and years ago. And then that was, I ran into him in front of the old YTV building, because that's where his studio's located. And unbelievable, there's Chris. You know what I mean? And when I started talking to him, I just wanted to do like a Rick Boogs thing, like bring my guitar out and warm the audience up, and that was gonna be the end of it. Yeah. You know what I mean? And he's like, no, you should wrestle. I was like, dude, I'm 51 years old, by the way.
Which is great for 51, man.
Wow. In Comedians in Cars with Coffee, or whatever that thing is. I felt with I forgot who played Electro in Spider-Man. It was Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx,
yes. Jamie Foxx has this great. He's like, I'm 50, but I kind of keep it like 50. But when he goes home, and he runs to the other 50-year-olds, they're like, oh, Jim, boy, look at you. They're old,
yeah.
So,
hey man,
if you stay young on the inside, you kind of stay young.
I just had my second kid at the age of 41. I promise you, I'm not going to look like you when I'm 51.
No, but
you don't look like him now.
I don't look like you. I'm going to die.
Older, yeah. Now you're not going to sleep, but You were in your 30s or 20s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know
Now
why I
you're
didn't do
40,
this 20
you're
years
not gonna
ago.
sleep. Yeah. You know, so he ran into Chris. He's like, you should wrestle. And then it became, check out a class. I tried a couple of things and a roll and tried the ropes. And next thing you know, I'm like, I didn't know where I was going. I just know I was like, I'm this new wrestling fan.
Yeah.
And now my fiance and I are like going deep. We're watching like all the documentaries and trying to learn all the eras and there's so much of it.
100%.
There's so much, like the history stuff is, oh my God. Like it was one of the first things on television, right? When they invented the
Exactly.
television.
It goes way back. Yeah.
Yeah, it's huge. You know, it's like night in Canada. As soon as TV came in Canada, there was wrestling. You know,
exactly.
And so that's what happened. Like I didn't know what I was gonna do. Like I just wanted to. I was like, oh, you know, 51. Okay, I'll try it. You know, and hearing more, and then you know, Chris is funny. He's like, okay, you're gonna do a match. I'm like, I'm gonna do a match. You know, but he always said the right things. Like he was funny. He's like, I didn't even see you winning the belt. And I was like.
You're already picturing it, right?
I haven't even taken my first like training class, you know, and I'm like, he'll say stuff where you're just like, it's funny. And then I took like 4 weeks of class, and then the talking became that time back. And honestly, like everyone in this training class, they're awesome, dude. Like, you know, I'm trying to learn to bump, but like the first week, like the first few days, I'd be driving home from like class like this, like, you know, just it took a while, and I'm taking a bit of a beating. I'm actually kind of injured right now. Like I fell on my arm, like in my rib cage. I feel like I took it like a shot, like one of those gut shots, like. Ugh. But no, I don't know. Like half of me is going like, this is a lot of fun. And half of me is like, are you nuts? Because I watched an older Hulk Hogan doc, like right after his divorce, where he got, you know, cleaned up. And like he's going to wrestle to make money again. Because I was like, there's no furniture in the house. You know what I mean? Like it's funny, you find documentaries that are mid-2000s, you know, and so you gotta kind of remember where they were. So he's like, and he's in the training center, he's like, well, I can't bump. I can't do ropes, you know. I really shouldn't be doing this. He was 57 at the time. And I'm like, well, what stuff do you want? I don't know what, like, I don't know how far I could take it. Like, because I don't know, like, how much body you can take. But I started taking class, and it's dude, like, I loved it, man. Like, all of a sudden, I'm doing stuff I didn't think I would be doing at my age. Not only that, I play a ton of this, and last year I had all these injuries, like with my ankles. I was wearing ankle braces and like compression socks, and this year they're gone. Like I feel like my body's a bit stronger. I'll tell you, it's not like a kind of train. Like I'm getting this great cardio, but you're getting the shit kicked out of you. Like
big time.
When I'm taking heat, like I'll tell you, then like some of the steps are taps, but like every third, boom, you're like, hey, you're like, whoa, and another one of it too, and come home and you're like, there's a bruise. You know, there's a bruise, but you don't know where it came from. Then I'll see something, and like Stratos is stepping on my arm and like the rope. I'm like, oh, that's why this is sore, and it's still sore.
Yeah,
I'll tell you, I said like when he said, that there's that, you know, there's funny bruises and like all this, like all, you know, but I love it. It's crazy, and
you couldn't have been.
I went over. Why he sent me over like right away, like a month ago. I feel bad because there are people that are, you know, these guys, they really put themselves in danger. Wrestlers put themselves in real danger. I've had a couple of things where someone fell on me and I was like, oh, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're
like,
big boys in there, right?
Yeah, and they're amped out and they're big, and I'm like this little kind of like, you know, we're doing headlocks and like, but I love it, man. I learned like how intricate and it's way more to wrestling and spots and telling stories than you think. It's like a science, and Chris knows it. He you know, before my match, he was telling me all kinds of things and the spot and how the crowd might react, like will react. I'm like, okay, you know, like I come from a performer background, right? I'm not wrestler. But I knew enough to just take direction, right? Like when it's like go slow, it's easy to just like amp out and just do the spot really quick, but tell a story. That's what I found in my match. Like, well, I was like, holy shit, this is working. Like, you know what I'm saying? To the tag and the crowds go like it's just that it's a really artful, intricate mix of like choreography, like a dance and story to mime and booing and cheering and energy and no energy and hitting you and loving you like and shining and heat and it's amazing that to me that's where it just becomes this like science and very creative and it's unlike anything like it has everything. Wrestling has everything.
Yeah,
And
it has everything.
And it proves to me here about for those who don't know, I gotta pull that back. That's Chris Chambers. For anybody who knows, the owner of Super. It shows how smart Chris is too. The way he booked this.
He's Obi-Wan Kenobi. You know,
100%. Because not only he put you in the hands of two extremely safe and reliable guys, Stratos Fear and Shane Saber.
Like,
I don't know a lot.
They took care of him. Like they took. You will
100%.
literally
I've
see
known
the
Shane for
microphone
years.
slams me. He has his head like his hand behind my head. You know, like this guy's getting safe, and I thank them. Like that's and they make you look good, but that's with years of experience and bodies broken up, man.
And then on the other side. And then on the other side, you're tagging a guy, know anybody more over than Psycho Mike, man. No matter where you go, what promotion, that guy's getting motherfucker everywhere they go.
Kids are kids are chanting like I gotta tell
body
you,
slam,
like,
man.
I don't know what it is. Like he's just really good at what he does. Like, can you put your finger on it? Like it's you're kind of like. He knows how to do it, man. Like
there's
Psycho
something
Mike,
special about Mike.
He goes over, he's easily over. And I don't put my I can't say it's because of this, and this.
Yeah.
He just I'll tell you, he's a pretty smart, super smart 100%. Guy. Which is like that's probably a big problem because it's like, you know, imagine that brain looking at wrestling as like an art form and his, you know, after the match, he kind of like got really deep on it. And I was like, yeah, I gotta go.
So Phill, you know,
he was happy with I was happy with the match. I couldn't believe like for my first match, and I'm like, oh man, like how do I top this? Like I'm gonna have to do like a hurricanrana or something, you know? Like
yeah, well, I mean, I
watched a little bit.
I watched the clips, man. I watched all the clips. I haven't seen the full match yet. I haven't found the clip of the full match yet. But, you know, you got to feel pretty good. You're standing in the ring. You got the whole crowd chanting YTV at you. You're coming off the top rope.
And I was like, I didn't start that. And I was also like, they don't pay me anymore. So
you know, but you've got a background, like
you
said.
Should be chanting my new sponsor, Flow Water.
Yeah, there you go, Flow Water, Flow Water. Hey, we'll put it over. Right. But you know, with your background with YTV, you know, like we used to always come home from school, our generation, and we'd rush home to put on The Zone and see you, and you know, you were so charismatic on that show, and you're somebody that stands out all these years later. How do you compare like the rush that you would get from maybe doing a TV show or like something in the acting field compared to what you're getting inside the wrestling room?
With the wrestling?
Yeah, like how do you compare the two? Like, you know, like if you have a good segment like on The Zone or something, you feel pumped up about it maybe, but then you're in the ring in front of this crowd with the like, you know, it's got to be a big energy dump there, right?
Yeah, there's you know, you first of all, you really can't compare it. That's why I did it in the place, you know, because I knew I'd be learning something new. I didn't know quite what I'd be learning. Like I know what I learned, and it's really made me more comfortable with performing in front of people, which I wasn't used to. Like trust, like I was just in a studio with one cameraman. Like that's really what I was used to. And, you know, there's that, like, I feel like I could maybe tackle a play, you know, I don't know, you know? So yeah, there's no comparing. Now, the other thing I figured out, and Stratos was kind of tough this, he was like, yeah, I kind of need some time to wind down after a match. Like, you know, it's like, oh, okay. You know, I'm hearing these things that I don't quite get. and it took me a while to learn the language, like heat and shine.
Yeah.
And like I hope I'm not breaking some cape. Forget it. Like, are we still like kayfabe?
Right?
Not on this show. Yeah.
I'm sure it's discussed elsewhere.
That's how we talk on the show. We have any guy. We have wrestlers on the show every couple of weeks.
So I'm still, but I'm nerding out because I want to know, because I listen to these guys talk and I'm like, that's why I couldn't really understand when we made the spot, when we kind of created the match. I just didn't quite get it. You know what I mean? Like, I knew this was gonna happen, but they saw like the whole thing and they knew how long it was gonna last. And I thought it'd be maybe 6 minutes, 8 minutes. I didn't know. It was like ended up being 22 minutes, which I'm happy because that means I went slow, like they said I should. I also learned, like, you don't how much of it is storytelling, because I'm not like the greatest wrestler and I only know a little bit. But I'd be clotheslining Stratos and he goes down like that makes no sense. But the suspension of disbelief is just gone, because it's just about telling a story. And those guys, I'll tell you, Psycho Mike, Stratos, Chris, crafted that whole thing. I didn't understand. I just said, all right, you know what I mean? I didn't quite get it. Now the next match, and I was discussing this with my fiance, it'll be interesting because now I'll be able to see like how it goes. Like I know the build up and the shine and the heat, and so I'll be able to kind of see the story now. I honestly went into my first match not knowing what the hell what it was gonna be, what was gonna happen. There were a couple of moves, like I don't know if you saw Stratos throw me into the ropes. That I'd never done that before. He was just like, tighten up. And I said, well, what's going to happen? You'll probably be tangled in the ropes. I bounced off that thing and then landed on my hip. I'm 51 in the ring. You know what I mean? I had no clue. I got winded. So I'm like down there and he can hear it. He said, yeah, I heard it. Because he put me down and you can hear me go, and then like on the ground, like,
it's so true if you're not ready for it. And that's what people don't understand about this business. Like, take away the giant dude attacking you, everything else still hurts. Oh, no. I remember my very first training session, all I did was run the ropes for half an hour. When I left, I had welts across my back and I had knocked the air out of myself twice just from running the ropes. Yeah. People don't understand how much it takes out of these guys.
Oh my God. And the cardio, bro. Like we practice ropes and you got to go twice as once. And you have to do 10, all the while with someone either, getting down on the mat, you got to jump over them, or there's a leapfrog, or there's ducking a clothesline, and it's like rope. And it's like, some people are so gifted at it. I'm so gassed by the end, and like lots of near accidents, like two people trying to leapfrog. It's like, whoa, it can get dangerous because it gets, you start slow, but then all of a sudden you're like running ropes like this, and it's interesting stuff. And the ropes are more dangerous than you think. It took Mick Foley's ear.
That's that, right? You mentioned the name Stratos a couple times, and I reached out to Stratos and let him know that you were coming on the show. And I was gonna see if he wanted to send a message in to you. He replied back that he didn't have time to film this, but he wanted me to tell you, and I quote, "Fuck you." That's the that's the message. I think he might be a little hurt that you took his belt. I don't know, but that was the message I had to get to Stratos. So I will clip this if you would like. Do you want to maybe say something to Stratos and return to that, and we'll send that off to him?
Okay, no, I don't have a message, but I have a story. I won't say where it was. Like I saw Stratos. You know what I mean? And, maybe we know each other and maybe we, a little bit. And I was like, hey, Stratos. He's kind of like, kayfabe, bro. Kayfabe. I was kind of like this, like, okay. All right. It was kind of like that. Stratos. Stratos took care of me, man. You saw.
Yeah, he did. He did. I want to go back to something
All
else that
those
you
boys
did.
take care of me. Everyone takes care of me.
It's such a family, the Ontario independent scene. It's such a family. Eh? We do a lot of work up in Barrie with the guys at Barrie Wrestling. We see Stratos up there from time to time, and the locker room that they have is it's so welcoming and so a family, and I love it. It's one of my favorite. Every month we go up to the show. It's one of my favorite parts of the month.
I'll tell you, like I've been at Superkick'd for like a little over a month. I'm starting to meet everyone. I'm like, well, I was like, oh, I got some new friends. Like
it's great.
I felt like I was part of the group, but I didn't want to,
Yeah,
you're kind of still like, hey guys,
and it's funny. It's always the scariest guys, right? You walk in and you see Holden Albright, and you're like, okay, I'm not going to talk to that scary fuck. And then he's the nicest guy in the fucking room. It's always like that. Or Jesse V. Yeah.
Like this guy could use me as a toothpick, and he's the nicest guy that you'll talk to in the locker room.
Oh, right? I wish he'd use me as a toothpick.
I'd love to go back to something.
Also, Mark Wheeler. Mark Wheeler.
Yo, that guy. He's awesome, eh? Not just even as a human being.
I love all the Superkick'd guys. They're great.
I'm so happy that those guys are getting that match with the House of Black, because getting to know Wheeler and Jesse over the last year. Just the hard work they put in to get a reward to have a match like that with the House of Black. I'm just so happy for them, right?
Yeah, and you'll see them hold up, man.
Oh yeah, those guys can go, man.
I was just telling Wheeler, like, we're gonna lose you, dude. And he's like, oh, you're being so nice. I'm like, we're gonna we're gonna lose you, bro. Because
I'm not doubting it at all.
Yeah. But they work hard,
especially man. And AEW is coming to Toronto in a few months. This was announced. I have a feeling they're going to come and they're going to do some house cleaning on the independent scene. They're not going to leave here empty-handed. I truly believe that.
Yeah, well,
you think so, guys?
I hope so. Yeah, you ready?
There you go.
And we'll take the 51-year-old 120-pound guy too. Throw him in.
Yeah. Yeah. PJ Phill, the Dark Elevation champion, all day long.
There it is.
That was I'll just really guess you have to, Wheeler, and he'll be like, if I go, he comes.
Yeah, stickies, eh? You guys are stickies. Phill, I'd love to circle back. I love hearing the journey of how you got back into professional wrestling.
I'm a new fan.
Yeah,
I'm a new fan.
And you and your fiance are doing it together.
Yeah, I want independent fucking wrestling to, remember when skateboard companies, there are all these little skateboard companies and the big ones just kind of, I think that's what's going to happen. I think that, who has time to 6 hours a week for SmackDown, WWE?
It's too much, right?
That's it.
It's too much. I think we can't follow stories anymore. There's like, he jumped me 2 months ago. 2 months ago.
Yeah. I find with Raw too, the same guys fight each other every week, and it's like, let's switch it up a bit.
They're stuck. They're stuck, and if you think about it, a lot hasn't changed. Oh. The promos look the same. The storytelling's kind of the same. I think just being a new fan, I have ideas. Why isn't David Fincher directing the promos? Let some director just to see what
something
different. Why aren't they getting it involved? Because these guys, you'd be surprised who are wrestling fans. You know what I mean? Like someone is.
100%. Now, being a new fan, you may not be privy to this, but back, I want to say 2015-16, there was a promotion called Lucha Underground, owned and run by Robert Rodriguez. And and when you watched it, it felt like a Robert Rodriguez film. It really did. And it was out there. You had fucking dragons and guys, drug lords killing each other every week. People died on this show. Like it was out there, and it felt like you were watching From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah, it was
but it was a wrestling show. And it only lasted 4 seasons, and people just didn't get it. And I'll never understand that. I said, that's what I want in my wrestling at this point. I want it to be this spectacular movie thing. That's like I want Quentin Tarantino to buy a wrestling promotion. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, you want to see a different kind of storytelling. Why does it have to be like the same kind of style since the 50s? Why don't you bring in? Yeah, exactly. And who is part of that choir is, look at Psycho Mike. He loves Zombie Mike.
Yeah.
you know, because now you can just, wow, what else can we do? You know, and
Psycho
that should
Mike
be,
just
yeah,
gets it.
like independent wrestling companies are the way to go for that kind of thing. I hope, and I think that they should have a resurgence, because who can afford $900 lawn seats to go see an OVO fest, but $30 for a wrestling show? You will have the time of your life.
100%.
And a lot of my friends who came for the first time just to go see me do it, you know, they had the best time. And everybody's like, you just have to go once.
Yeah, that's it.
And you're told, really.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You get hooked right away.
Yeah, you know, and the
Especially
guy,
Superkick'd has an energy that's just kind of nuts. Like,
you see the
really
vibes.
don't see a lot of that. Yeah.
Yeah, and, you know, and a guy like Psycho Mike, you talk about something different, right? That guy gets a bigger reaction out of doing a body slam than, you know, you see anybody on the WWE TV doing these flips and tables and whatever. Like, he gets it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's kind of past the wrestling. He's such a smart guy. He just wants to story tell.
Yeah,
you know,
that's what it's all about. That's what hooks you in, you know.
And we're not the only ones who know. We had Josh, Impact champion Josh Alexander on the show about 6 months ago, and we asked Josh right away. Said, being from Toronto, who do you see? Who do you love? Like, who do you want to see in Impact? The very first name he brought up was Psycho Mike. He flat out said he wants Psycho Mike in Impact. That speaks volumes to me, because some of the biggest and smartest names in the industry right now see Mike and know that what he's worth. And I really hope the Scott D'Amores and the Tony Khans and the Triple H's, I hope they see him and notice that, because of all the indie guys right now, he's in my top 5 of, this guy's going to make you some fucking money. This guy will make you money. Grab him now. I say that, but then selfishly, I don't want that to happen, because I want to be able to go and watch him for $30.
You don't want AEW to scoop up this piece of work. Oh man,
that's it.
Oh man,
you talked about watching with your fiance and watching all these documentaries and stuff, and you know, you're kind of getting into the history of it. Who are some of the guys that are captivating you going back and watching? I see the Dusty Rhodes shirt on there. I know we talked in some messages that you love his promos. Who are some other guys that you're really invested in going back and watching all this stuff?
Like, honestly, it's everybody. We A&E's been doing something. Last night they did Lex Luger.
Oh, like, nice. I haven't seen that yet.
God, all these stories are unbelievable. Lots of tragedy. You know, tons of tragedy.
Tough life.
Tough life, but I think it's a life that's, I mean, we're always just talking about like 70s, 80s, you know what I mean? And you don't hear about that like with the Miz, like they have a bus and a family, like it's kind of changed a little bit, you know.
100%.
300 and like, I'm sure they have like still brutal schedules. They still get injured, but I think it's changed a lot.
It's not the way it was even just 15, 20 years ago. It's not like it was then. You know, it's changed a lot.
Yeah, I hate that Scott Hall's gone, you know, and I'm kind of discovering him. I'm discovering him after, you know what I'm saying? Like that. Loved him, you know, like I'm loving every single story I hear. You know, mind you, it's a lot of old stuff, but I'm working my way up. Like we're, you know, I don't know. I love it. I'm just nerding out on it.
Yeah. Well, if you want some good suggestions, man, hit us up and we'll always tell you some good stuff to watch. Man, I've been watching for 38 years, right?
Dark Side of the Ring.
Oh, it's crazy.
Unbelievable, man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Speaking of which, we can do that.
I heard they're doing
now.
territories now.
They are doing so they got canceled not long ago, and now they're popping right back. Same guys who made Dark Side, they're hooking up with the Rocks company, and they're putting out a series about the territories.
I wonder how dark it remains. Like how dark it's gonna stay.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think they're gonna stay true to it, right?
I mean, the territories got nasty. Like they were
rough. It was the Wild West back then, man.
Yeah. So I guarantee that we're gonna.
You hear stories of guys like Bill Watts saying, if you are a heel and you're out of the bar and you lose a bar fight, you're fired. You know, because they had to protect the business at all times, right? Imagine having that pressure 24/7. You know, you can't even go out and have a beer and try not to lose a fight. You know, like. But then again, who the fuck would want to fight a wrestler anyway? Like, you got to be crazy to get into a bar and try to fight, Harley Race or
don't mess
something
with
like
me.
that.
Six
I'm a
Marines.
Champ, the champ. Don't mess with the champ.
That's
man.
it, man. If I see you at the bar, I'm not gonna pick at you. You're gonna have the belt over your shoulder. I'm gonna back right up, man.
My
Don't get
answer
blood
to
on
that
your white shirt.
my answer to that question, Tyler, is 6 Marines
Yeah, that's fair.
and a drunken Shawn Michaels.
But you talked about those A&E documentaries too. Those are hitting such a wide range of people that aren't
so
even
good.
wrestling
I'm
fans.
telling you, this is gonna blow. Like it's, people need wrestling. They don't know that they need it.
Yeah. I was at the Barrie Wrestling shows a couple weeks ago, and I'd missed a call from my mom, so I called her on my way back. I was like, "Hey, what's going on?" She goes, "I can't talk right now. I'm watching this Kurt Angle thing on A&E, and it's so
Kurt
good."
Angle.
My mom doesn't like wrestling, you know what I mean? But she's shooing me off to go watch Kurt Angle on A&E. I'm like, all right, like this is what we want, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it needs to. It just, for in order to expand, like you saw, like where, like for Guns N' Roses to be that band that they needed to be, lawyers were listening to Guns, guys in suits with like, that's what's going to happen. Like I honestly, like if the audience grows, which I think it will, like honestly, I think people need wrestling.
Yeah.
Especially after what we went through for the last couple of years. Like
I think what we need,
man.
people just need that next, and there'll never be this next guy. So when I say it, they need that Stone Cold Steve Austin or that Hulk Hogan. There, that guy that just brings in that boom, right? When I was growing up,
Phill.
PJ Phill, right? We need that guy to get behind, because when I was growing up, I grew up in the high school. I was in the 90s, right? And the late 90s when I was in high school, and I was in the Attitude Era. And if you went to school and you weren't wearing a wrestling shirt, you were the outcast. You know what I mean? It's like,
oh yeah,
it was crazy. Everybody watched wrestling because everybody loves Stone Cold and The Rock, right? So hopefully, somebody comes along and just clicks with that audience and takes it back to that level that we know it can get to, right?
Hey man, PJ Phill.
PJ Phill in the house.
We talk about promos and stuff like that, but I got to ask you, Phill, what, being it's pretty new for you now, do you remember what was the first actual bell-to-bell match you found yourself loving? Do you know?
A match, like a whole match
a match that you sat down and you're like, holy shit, I get this now. Like I know, like this is professional wrestling. I like this. Do you remember that match?
Yeah, it was my match. When I saw my match, I swear to God, you're asking me like
that is the best answer you could possibly give.
I'm telling you, like I watched it. And I figured like that. Then I got it. Like I really got it. Now I can kind of go back and watch other matches and go, "This isn't as good as my match." But
see, there, that is the moment. That is the moment Phill became a true professional wrestler because he's fucking. He just put himself over. That is the best way you could possibly fucking enter this world. Anybody else would have been like, that was Savage and Steamboat or Brett and Austin.
Yeah.
That Ricky Steamboat guy is pretty good, but my match is better.
Hulk Hogan body slamming Andre the Giant was okay.
But you going through the table off the top rope, that was the moment.
Did you see my stunner?
Dude, what were you thinking? What were you thinking when you're on the top rope and you went through and you're jumping through the table to the outside? What's going through your mind there, man?
Oh man, I wish I'd done a bit better. Like I should have. I was like, oh man, you should have jumped. like that. There were some things I wish I had done different. So a couple of cells, like I just like stayed down. I didn't do like a nice, like this. When you hear this, it's like okay, then he needs to be pinned. But this guy, maybe he's got a chance.
You do the Ric Flair, you walk a couple steps and then fall on your face,
I don't know. You're like, this happened so fast. Like, I have no finisher. I have no dance. Like, I still haven't figured that out.
Well, you know what?
I just use PJ Phill because why would I not use that?
Yeah.
All that marketing money that got spent in the 90s.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I'll take that.
I mean, that's built in for you, right? Like,
why am I going to confuse people? Yeah. AJ Styles, PJ Phill. Hey, AJ.
I mean, it's not like you're being managed by SNIT. You know what I mean? They're not shoving the YTV down anybody's throats. But
No.
we grew up with PJ Phill. You know who PJ Phill is. It's an easy
a
marketing
brand.
employee.
You're
it's
a
a brand.
brand, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
right. Like I know, it's crazy.
I mean,
Like,
shit. It's not just you. 30 years later, I still call Campanelli Rick the Temp.
Rick the Temp.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
one of those things.
But that just goes to
it
show
just
how
sticks with you.
well it just goes to show how well you guys branded yourselves. You know what I mean? Like it's like you got it. You know what I mean?
Or really what it was is I don't know. Like and Rick has it. Maybe I had a bit of it, but it was just a real connection. Like I don't know. Like I wasn't.
Trust me, you had it.
Yeah, well, it's like I don't know. I can step outside myself and look back and see why it worked,
Yeah.
But you're looking at a guy who had to fill 7 minutes, sometimes 3 minutes, 30 seconds, like 5-6 times a day, Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
This wasn't like a script that was handed to us. Like it was funny back then. They just let us run the show. Sometimes I didn't know what I was going to talk about. 10 seconds to live, it was like 5, 4, and I'd say to the guy doing snacks, did you see a movie this week? No. All right, we're back. Hey, did you see a movie? It was like, honestly,
that's crazy.
It was like that, and then just let it go, because like how can you write all that content?
Yeah.
What's fun television now, you just couldn't do it. You couldn't just throw morning shows, maybe a little bit the radio, but you see guys just or hosts just doing whatever they want. Absolutely. So at least I got I had to be me, and I was me, and I was talking to you, and I was just for a lack of content, I'd be very earnest. Like I got a speeding ticket today, guys, if you got a speeding ticket, this is what's gonna happen. You're gonna go to court.
Yeah. But you know what though? That's the stuff that resonated.
And always have my insurance in the car.
Yeah, like that's what resonated with us though, man. Like I'll tell you from somebody who watched you, when you were on and really in the prime of the zone stuff, like you were the cool guy. You know what I mean? Like we would come home and we'd be like, oh, Phil's like, he's so cool, man. He's talking about this movie, or he got a ticket today. Like we all resonated, and and then I think it's carried over now because you are getting all these great reactions like in the world of wrestling, because we're all these nerds, like you said, right? We grew up with YTV, or not grew up, but we watched it, and now you're in our world of wrestling, and then it's not a far jump from YTV and and Video and Arcade Top 10. There's not a far jump from that to the world of professional wrestling, and I think that's why you're getting these chants at the thing. Like give yourself a pat on the back, man. Like you put a lot of great work down, man, and we all appreciate it. So that's our way of giving back to you too.
I gotta tell you, the work was with this wrestling, man. It was hard this month. I'll tell you, it's been my dream to be a tag team champ since December. Hard. It's so bad. Like I'm scared. Like everyone I take wrestling with, they're like, who is this guy coming in here? I feel so embarrassed. It was like I came my first class after the match was like, hey, the champ, and this is really good. I'm like, no, it's embarrassed, but it's great. Hey, that's wrestling.
Yeah.
Well, you did something right, because Chris wants you back. You're definitely going to be doing another match.
I'd love
it. Defending those. You're going to be defending those straps at some point.
You're going to see something new too. Like, you're going to see something like, oh, you could do that.
Yeah, but see, now right? You've been in there and you've got that feel. So now you're like, all right, I'm gonna pull a new trick out. You know what I mean? Like, I like it.
I got to tell you, like being in a wrestling match, like it's just unlike as a performer, like I'm acting and stuff like that. That thing was just nuts, man. Like it was wild. I had so much fun. I learned a lot. There was a weird come period. Like I was kind of like, I don't want to say depressed, but you did like the adrenaline drop.
Yeah.
From just that that craziness and people screaming, and then cut to you're like at your kitchen sink, like quiet, and you're just
Mick Foley told a great story on his podcast.
You kind of want it, you miss it, like it's like, oh, like you kind of want that all the time in your life. You want life to be like, you're at the grocery store and there's people like, oh, yeah, all right, get that broccoli. Yeah. It's like you want all of life to be like,
Get it, man. Because
know.
I'm not gonna lie to you. That's part of the reason we do the show. We want that little bit every time that we get one extra listener in a week. We we basically high five each other, and we feel like we're the world tag champs. That we want that little tiny bit.
That
And
energy, yeah.
if we have a week where we dropped 10 listeners, we feel like, just like you said, sitting at the kitchen, like,
Yeah.
why are we?
Yeah, it's weird.
Then the next week we'll be at a Barrier Wrestling, and Corey Stone's kicking the shit out of Tyler, and I'm laughing, and we're all having fun, and we're part of the show sometimes, and it's a great thing, and that's the adrenaline gets up here again.
That's great.
That's the coolest thing that we have done with this show is, like, we were always supposed to be a list show. That's what we were going to do. We're going to come on every week. We're going to count down the top 7 things that we like, and then that would be it. Then we started just reaching out to people. We started reaching out to wrestlers and celebrities and every. Oh, fuck, man! In a couple of days, we're going to be sitting down with Dory Funk Jr.,
wow.
one of the biggest legends in the history of the business. How we came from there to there, you know what I mean? And that's what makes us want to do this.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying 100%.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah, like I don't give a shit if nobody listens.
Guerrero.
Right? There you go, right?
That's right. We got a Guerrero. We got a Guerrero on the show. Why didn't I open with that?
Yeah,
by way of a puppet show, not wrestling. By way of the puppet Guerreros.
Oh my God.
Those Guerreros.
So what can we expect though, Phill? Are you still getting in the ring? You're still doing some training right now. Can we expect to see you back in there? Because I think Mike and I might want to make a road trip because I'm up in Barrie. He's in Newmarket. Like we're not too far away, man.
Too far.
I want to make a road trip.
I'll let you guys know. Yeah, I'll let you guys know exactly. Like honestly, it's kind of funny. Like it's just kind of fly by for everybody. Like of course this House of Blacks announced, but I don't even know. Like be out tomorrow and we'll know. But I'll let you guys know. Yeah. I got to take the time to just thank everybody at Superkick'd, the rest. Juno, who is, he taught me like that heating classes I go to. He got me ready. Like he, all these guys got me ready. All the wrestlers are like super nice. Like just, it's been such a great crew, such a great neat kind of set of hopefully friends, but everyone's super nice. They take care of you, like so dangerous, but God, everyone loves it so much. They're down to like put themselves in, but yeah, man, I don't know. I love it. I'm loving wrestling right now. I'm loving it.
While we're thanking people from Superkick'd, I did promise. I said we would do a couple pushes for them.
Read the list.
Do not miss 21st in Toronto. They will be there for with the House of Black. They're back at Great Hall on August 26th, also in Toronto. Yep, that's right. And of course, I have to push their training facility in Liberty Village.
Yeah, man.
If you're looking to training, looking into getting into the sport, go check out Superkick'd in Liberty Village.
Yeah, check it out. I did it.
Yeah.
Check where I did it.
And
I'm a champ. And I won the in 4 weeks. I should do that commercial.
No, they gotta
I started taking pain.
They gotta give you the belt and the champion. They gotta give you the belt and the camera and just let you walk around town and just do whatever the hell you want to do with it, man.
Yeah, then everybody's like, "You promised me a belt, friend, for 3 years."
Like, man, the stuff that you guys did too, like with Psycho Mike, those videos you would do where you're on FaceTime and you're getting jumped from behind, and he's just like, "Oh no, not again!" Like that stuff was fucking hilarious, man.
Yeah,
when you did the one in the ring and he came out after taking a dump and he's like, "Oh, it happened again!" Like I was dying laughing. He's like, "It happened
and
again."
That would only work with Mike, and it's so funny.
And I'll tell you, like when they came up with that promo, I was like trying to listen, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'll do that. I didn't see it, and then when it got cut together, I was like, oh my god, this is like brilliant. This
That's
is
great.
hilarious. Those guys have the touch. Like,
Is
those
it hard?
dudes.
Is it hard keeping a straight face around Mike? Because like I can't help but smile when anytime I watch him do anything. Like it's got to be tough to keep it together around him because he's so funny.
Well, I didn't know what was going on. I was just like laughing. Well, how's this gonna work? What's like literally, I'm like, how does this work? But guys, though, it's so funny. Like they see it, and they're good with that. Chris tells me like, and you see this with Superkick'd, like the American come in and they're just like the energy is so crazy. And they're looking around and they just don't get like how he does it. I go deep sometimes. I'm checking out all these Indians, like all of the states, and some guys are just unbelievable mechanics. You know what I mean? And then cut to like their matches in their indie wrestling thing, and it just feels dead. It's like in a banquet hall, and you think like, oh my god, they might hit the ceiling if they jump the ropes, and the lighting's bad, and it's quiet, and there's like only a few people, and you see in England, like, and that hurts me. Like I want it. Like I would love to make like indie wrestling so big that everybody goes to whatever's in their town. You know what I mean? To support that, because man, it's like the Page movie. It's like it really is like that. Like it's a lot of work for a love of something that I don't know who's making what. WWE and AEW's up there, but I think it's time for just everybody to just kind of get it to do
Go
this.
Back to the territory days, baby.
Yeah, territory days. Why not? Let's do it.
That's it.
Yeah, I'd love that. Oh my God.
While we're on the topic of thanking people, before we start going home here, I have a big thank you to this week.
You're welcome.
To our
welcome.
that was coming. Before that, thank you. I got to talk about our good friend, longtime listener, original listener of the show, Rob Erbick, our most dedicated show. He knew it was my birthday a few weeks ago. I opened my mailbox today and I got my gift. This is one of only a few made. This is an exact replica of Owen Hart's Blue Blade, made by Mark Etier, who made the mask, who made this mask for the Dark Side of the Ring episode.
No,
he only made like 5 or 6 of them, and this is one of them. So thank you, Rob. You're an amazing fan. You're an amazing listener. We love you so much. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, thank you for mine as well. I haven't checked my
place.
mail yet today, but thank you for mine as well, Rob. You're the best. I haven't checked the mail yet today, but yeah, that's cool. I'm a collector of stuff.
That's like going deep, man. The blue blazer mask, like you're going like old characters. That's so like yeah. We love that. Yep. I love that one scene where Steve Austin can't stop laughing because like Vince McMahon and Mick are doing the Dude Love song. Valet Attitude Era at a time, and Steve Austin just can't help but like, oh my god!
Like I love hearing those stories. Oh, I know your boss out there going crazy, right?
To sell. Amazing stuff.
Well, Phill, before we start bringing it home here,
thanks. Oh yeah.
I was gonna say, you got something else, Mike? Go ahead.
No, you're just a little on delay. I think the storm is affecting your connection.
Oh yeah, I got some shitty weather here.
Away from me. So
I was gonna say before we wrap this up here, Phill, do you have anything that you want to plug? Any social media where people can reach out and share some memories or just shoot the shit about wrestling with you?
I don't know. At PJ Fresh Phill is my Instagram. And that's like, honestly, I don't know where this is going. Like, I'm not making any money. This is just like this love of something that I'm just seeing where it's going. Like, there's no like angle, to try and make money or anything. I'm just doing this.
I think that's why people like it. I think that's why people like it. I think that's why I like it. bringing it back to the whole Bill Welichka thing. That's why I got into that, because he wasn't getting paid. He wasn't doing anything. He was doing a favor for a buddy, who the promoter Jan. He just loves wrestling and he loves what he was doing. He was having fun. That's what we want to see from our wrestling, from our wrestlers, from the outsiders coming in, learning.
Yeah, that's why you're so. That's why you've been
if it
so
doesn't
well
look like you're having
received.
fun,
You know, that's why you've been so
100%.
well received as
People
well.
know you're having fun.
Yeah, you're so well received by the
respect
wrestling community.
and you respect the industry.
You want to hear
respect
one
for the
more?
industry is
I'll
shown.
tell you one more stupid thing. Like, it's too bad I discovered wrestling after, because maybe about a couple of years ago, I did a Comic-Con. It was the Hamilton Comic-Con. And I was actually having lunch with Brutus the Barber Beefcake,
That's crazy.
Nice.
you know, before I got into wrestling.
Yeah.
And to me, it was just this, I was just like eating with them, and Brutus, this is all I remember. Like, in the middle, they'd be eating, and he would say something like, yeah, a friend of mine bought a boat in the Keys. I was like, oh, cool,
Oh, cool, Brutus.
And now I have to wear a mask.
Yeah, and then there's like Greg Brady and Cindy Brady opening up pizza boxes, checking if there's any pepperoni like over there.
That sounds like the
Grino going
weirdest.
for a butt.
That sounds like the weirdest episode of the Surreal Life ever.
Yeah.
But I wish I wish I'd been in a wrestling then, because I would have been like, oh my god, Brutus the Barber. Like, is that a crazy thing?
Yeah,
like, and it's not
that is
even that long
nuts.
ago.
Those
Yeah.
Hamilton Comic Cons bring in the big stars. This
They
year they
really
got
do.
Kurt Angle coming, the
I'm
New
gonna
Age
be at that
Outlaws.
one. Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I think
But the
I'm
thing
making
is,
a road
Kurt
trip.
Angle, I don't know what to say to Kurt Angle. Like,
Yeah, just like
hey,
we're not
champ, I'm a
worthy.
champ. I'm a champ.
Listen,
Kurt-
you were a champ, but I am
am
a champ.
Yeah, you were.
Oh, that's fantastic. Phill,
Well,
thanks.
thank you so much, Phill. We're so happy to have you here. We're really lucky that you took the time out for
Thanks,
us here.
guys. That was great.
Again, everybody, check out Superkick'd. As soon as we know that what show Phil's going to be back on, we're going to promote it. I'm going to reach out to Chris and do some like legit promotion for that show. So we'll make sure people know about it. We'll get a couple. Out of our listener group, we'll get at least two more people in the seats. So that's good
Yeah.
for you.
My storyline will be like, will he have a heart attack in the ring? Will that be it? Is that how it ends?
Oh man, you should totally wear a Los Guerreros t-shirt in the ring. That's all I'm gonna say.
I'm working on my shirt. The
There
artwork's
you go.
being done.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Unbelievable. I get to have a belt and a shirt. Like, I'm just
Great,
truncating a whole career. I'm gonna have my retirement match hopefully within the year.
There you go. There you go. That's
Yeah.
amazing. I love it. I love it.
And then we could book it as Phill Guerrero's last match.
Yeah.
We have a whole fucking pay-per-view for
We'll have
it.
the roast of Phill.
Oh,
yeah, there you go.
The super kick screw job.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, we're gonna plan the screw job. It's a work.
It's a work, brother.
It was all a work.
Kayfabe, brother.
Yeah,
Kayfabe,
brother.
Kayfabe, bro.
Yeah. All right. I can hear my 2-month-old baby screaming. That means I have to go. Thank you again, Phill. This was a treat for us.
Yeah, that was great, man.
So we're gonna shut it off as far as the recording side goes. On behalf of PJ Phill, Superkick'd Wrestling, and thank you again so much, Rob, for my mask. We have been counted out.